Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dan Greer with Eclipse DOT coming back at you today to talk a little bit about interstate versus intrastate commerce. So, you might be like, Dan, why are you doing these videos? Well, let me give you a quick intro as to why we're doing these. We're doing these because I believe that education is the only way to actually learn something. And for some ungodly reason, the DOT department, the Department of Transportation, within our lovely, beautiful government, doesn't believe that, people learn by videos. They believe that they should just be able to type everything out in this ungodly, crazy, hard to read text that everybody will love to read. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a huge reader. So far this year, I've read 35 books, and it's the beginning of the year. But I don't like reading the regulations, right? I'm not one of those people that just geeks out on reading regulations. I geek out on understanding regulations. I geek out on being able to interpret the regulations, but I don't geek out on actually reading the regulations. So my hope is to make this super simple for all of you guys to understand. With that being said, let's bust straight in to interstate versus intrastate, okay? So I'm going to leave this up here. Interstate is when you cross state lines. So let's say you got Colorado, and what's over here? I'm pretty sure that's we got. So let's say this is Arizona. Let's say this is New Mexico. Ching, 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 ching. Don't ask me. Then we got Colorado, and then we got Utah. I got to erase interstate. Sorry, guys. You got in my road. Okay, so let's say that this is our Four Corners area. Now I know y'all are like, Dan, I'm in Kentucky. I don't know what the Four Corners, whatever, okay? My point is states touch, okay? So let's say that I start my trip here in Durango, Colorado, okay? And I'm going to go from Durango to Farmington, boom, and then let me grab a different color marker. Oh, man, Dan, you're so smart. Get a different color marker for this. Okay, so let's say I start in Durango, and I go from Durango to Farmington, okay? And then I'm going to go from Farmington to Phoenix, chink. And then I'm going to go from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Yeah, we didn't even know we had Nevada over here. Then I'm going to go from Las Vegas to St. George. Okay, then I'm going to go from St. George to Utah, Salt Lake City to Denver, back down. Colorado's got a lot of mountain passes in it, so the road looks a little windy. All the way back to Durango. Okay, so that's my trip. Would this be interstate commerce? What do you think? 100%, because we're crossing state lines. All right? Now, let's make this a little bit simpler. Let me grab, maybe you can see this purple marker. Oh, it's too close. Hold on. Okay, let me grab this green marker. Now then, let's say that I'm in Durango. Right here, okay? Durango, boom. And I'm going to come to Farmington just to get some parts. I work for a shop, but I'm going to get parts. And I'm doing it in a 1-ton pickup that's rated at 11,500 pounds. Okay, so it has a GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating of 11,500 pounds. And I'm going to go from Durango to Farmington, back and forth. All right, that's all I do. I drive that 1-ton pickup, and I go back and forth between Durango to Farmington. I'm just picking up parts in a 1-ton pickup. Am I a commercial vehicle? A lot of you are like, no, Dad, you're not a commercial vehicle. You're not 26,000 pounds. Well, the truth is because it's interstate commerce, because you're crossing state lines, and you're going down to Farmington, New Mexico to get parts, and you're going back to Durango, Colorado to install those parts, or vice versa. Right? That's interstate commerce. You're crossing state lines, and because the vehicle is over 10,000 pounds, that makes it a commercial vehicle. Okay? So let's say that the vehicle was, 9,000 pounds. Okay? 9,500 pounds. I don't know if a vehicle's 9,500 pounds, but we're going to say one is. So it's 9,500 pounds, and I'm doing that same thing. Is it still interstate commerce? It is still interstate commerce because you're still crossing state lines. But you're not a commercial vehicle because you're not over 10,000 pounds. Right? So if you turn your parts truck, your 1-ton parts truck into a parts Prius or a parts Volkswagen Bug or Tesla, whatever you want to do, right? That then makes this not a commercial trip. It is still interstate commerce. You're still crossing state lines, okay? But it's not actually interstate. You're not actually a commercial vehicle. Okay. Another example. You guys ready for this? This one's going to be a fun one. Okay. So let's say we got Hawaii. And then we got, Colorado. Don't get mad at me if my abbreviations are wrong. And let's say that I'm down here in Hawaii and I'm booking somebody from Colorado. So they're in Colorado. I'm in Hawaii. Okay. So I'm here. They're here. Okay. Is this interstate commerce if I book them for a tour in Hawaii and they're in Colorado? It is 100%, because I'm crossing state lines with them in my commerce, in my business. Business is not solely being conducted in Hawaii. The booking is happening in Colorado. This is interstate commerce as well. Does that make sense? I know, crazy crap, right? Okay, got another one for you. Let's just leave Colorado up there. If you can't tell, I kind of like Colorado for the moment. We'll see. They keep being stupid. We might get rid of them. Anyways, let's say I've got Colorado, and then I've got Tennessee. I know, I'm a great artist. Okay, so let's say that I got a part that's made here. I'm going to guess Memphis is right here, okay? So let's say my parts are made here, and they get shipped to me, and then I put them on a truck, and then I ship the truck back to Nashville, a different part of Tennessee. Don't get mad at me if that's not in the right spot. I didn't say I know what I'm doing, okay? So I ship them, so they ship parts to me in Colorado, and then I ship the truck, after I install the parts, I ship the truck to Nashville. What do you think? Interstate commerce? Yes or no? The correct answer is actually yes, it is interstate commerce. But in the terms of commercial vehicles, the answer is no. The only part of this trip that would be interstate commerce is actually this part right here, because it's shipping the entire vehicle over. Now, if I'm running these parts from here to here on a truck that's over 10,000 pounds, then it would be interstate commerce as well, and I would be a commercial vehicle. Okay? But if I'm carrying these parts on a Toyota Prius or on a Volkswagen Bug or in a Tesla or whatever, this is not necessarily going to be a commercial vehicle trip. While it's still interstate commerce because they're being shipped across state lines, while I'm in Colorado building this truck, I'm not actually involved in interstate commerce until I ship the truck to Tennessee. Because I never left the location of my state and my parts came to me. Does that make sense? I know, it's kind of crazy. So, anyways, that's interstate. Interstate is when you cross state lines, anything that requires you to cross state lines. Okay, now then let's talk about intrastate. I'm not a good drawer. You know why I use Colorado? Because it's square and I can draw squares. Okay, so let's say I'm in Colorado and I'm in Durango and I'm going to go to Denver and I make this trip there's lots of mountains in Colorado, okay? And I make this trip once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week, whatever. But this is the only trip that I make. I don't ever come down here to like Farmington. I don't ever go to Phoenix. I don't ever go to Salt Lake. I don't ever go to North Dakota or Idaho or whatever. I just stay solely in the state of Colorado. Is this interstate or intrastate commerce? This is all intrastate commerce because I'm never leaving the state of Colorado. I'm not involved in crossing state lines, okay? So with that being said, then I would have to follow Colorado's rules and regulations, not the federal rules and regulations for commercial vehicles. It just got crazy confusing, didn't it? Do you guys see why I talk about like following federal rules? Because all states have a bare minimum of federal rules. They can get more lenient than the federal rules, but they can't be stricter than the federal rules. So if you're always following the federal rules and regulations for commercial vehicles, you will always be 100% perfect, okay? Well, let's not go that way. You will always be able to abide by those regulations. And that's why I always recommend starting, if you're just getting into this role, if you're just getting into teaching DOT to your company, that's why I always recommend starting with the federal regulations, okay? So when we're operating in interstate commerce, this is super important. We got to remember that this 10,000 pounds to be a commercial vehicle is no longer actually required because each state is different. Now, if you're in Utah is a 10,000 pound state. So that means that they follow federal regulations to a T. They just like adopted them. Whereas Colorado made a few changes and Texas made a bunch of changes and New Mexico made a few changes as well, okay? So when you're operating an intrastate commerce, when you're staying within the state that you operate in, no matter what state it is, you just have to follow those state rules. Okay? Do you guys understand the difference between interstate and intrastate? All right? Yeah. It gets a little confusing. Interstate is crossing state lines. I think about like an interstate freeway. Interstate freeways cross state lines. They go from one end of the country to the other. So that's interstate commerce. Intrastate is kind of like a state highway. It changes numbers when you cross state lines because it's maintained and owned by that state, right? So if you operate in intrastate, you're staying within the state. If you operate in interstate, you're crossing state lines, okay? All right, hope that helps. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll chat with you later. Have a great day. Bye.